Hi, everyone. My name is Marli. I am the head of social commerce at Hopper, and today I'm going to talk about building a social commerce growth loop. For those of you who don't know, Hopper is an online travel agency. We're the third largest online travel agency, and we help customers spend less and travel better. We aspire to be the world's best and most fun place to book travel. And Hopper is the #1 most downloaded travel app in North America. I'm going to talk a little bit about how we got there and then talk a little bit about why social commerce is our next frontier in growth. So higher retention has allowed us to unlock profitable paid social at scale. Our major competitors, Expedia and Booking.com, have used paid search and meta search to get to the top of search results. That's a competitive space for us to enter and an expensive space for us to enter. So what we've done instead is use high retention products such as price freeze and price prediction that allows us to acquire lower intent users on social through direct. And those users, while they might not be ready to book the moment they actually download the app, because if you imagine, you're not going to see an ad for Hopper on Facebook and you're likely not going to tap it in that moment, book your flight. But if we get somebody excited about the product through price freeze, price prediction, some of our earning mechanisms, then that retention allows them to come back later. And when they're ready to book, they'll have Hopper already on their phone. So if we're already leading the way in installs, the question becomes, how do we grow our users beyond installs? And faster growth is going to have to come from somewhere else. If we think about kind of how we're positioned as this leading OTA in installs right now, we likely in reality only have about 2x more room for us to grow there, but there's plenty more room for us to grow through social commerce. So what we've done is we've looked outside of the travel agency world to see what super apps and other social commerce pioneers have been doing outside of the travel world. We've looked specifically at Pinduoduo, and this is an app that I get very excited about because they've been able to achieve unbounded growth through social commerce. What they do is they create more reasons for users to share and to launch the app. So this is not really just predicated on new installs. Social commerce goes beyond traditional referral program where you're trying to get somebody to install the app. What social commerce does is it creates good, strong reasons for your customers to want to launch the app themselves and to get their friends to launch the app too. So I'll give you 2 examples from Pinduoduo, and then I'll tie that back to what we're doing at Hopper. So Pinduoduo has this tree watering game. Essentially, you open the app, you will start watering the tree, and you will earn rewards. If you come back the next day, you're going to earn more rewards. And by watering this virtual tree, they actually will send you lychees or mangoes to your door. Then there's share multipliers. You can actually share that with your friend, and you'll earn even more, and you'll get even more lychees delivered to your door. They also have a product called Team Buy, and this is one that I get even more excited about. I've done many kind of Google Lens of translating every single screen of Pinduoduo to understand how this all works. But essentially, users are able to buy in bulk, but not just by themselves. They'll invite their friends to buy toilet paper with them, produce, whatever it is. And by sharing with their friends, they are able to lower the price of that product. So again, all of these are not dependent on a referral program where you're inviting somebody to install the app for the first time. Each of these creates a new, good, strong reason to share the app and to launch the app. So if we take a look at the social commerce key points that we've been able to explore and experiment with at Hopper, there's kind of 4 main key points that I want to point out. The first is friends. The app has to be better when you use it with friends. And I can say this, friends or social networks, whatever it is, the things that people care about in our marketplace are price, selection, trust, convenience. Each of these things has to get better if you share the app with your friends. So, for example, Team Buy is a great one. If you share with your friends, you're going to get a lower price. This is something that people care about in our app. The second point is launches, not just installs. I've already mentioned this, but we're going to hit a ceiling on installs. It's not sustainable for us to only grow on installs. We need to think about retention and make sure that what we're doing is we're encouraging people to launch the app. Another really important point that we've learned is loops grow faster than funnels. So a funnel is, if you want growth, you have to put resources in. The more resources you put in, the more growth you get. And at a certain point, customer acquisition cost is going to grow, you're going to saturate the market, and there's going to be diminishing return on investment there. A loop or a growth loop allows you to build one product that for every customer, it brings in more customers. And that is an exponential growth loop that even though it takes a little bit longer in the beginning, it allows you to achieve that unbounded growth that Pinduoduo and other super apps have been able to see. And lastly, something that's been really exciting to see is that all of our social commerce products that we've experimented with, the new users that come in are qualified users. They're converting at a rate at 2x to 10x our normal conversion rates, because that person who's doing the act of sharing the product that we're building or the feature we're experimenting with has done the work to figure out which of my friends is most likely to launch because of this or buy because of this. And when we're creating product-led social commerce growth products, it is so important that we really, really emphasize that we have to be dependent on what users want to share. Nobody's going to put something on their Instagram in front of all of their followers that doesn't feel meaningful to them. There's social dynamics at play. There's plenty of people that don't want to share referral products because it feels awkward. We've heard in user surveys like, I don't want to have to ask someone for something in exchange for something else, unless it's worth it to both parties involved. So we think a lot about what is that thing that that user really will want to share. So what I'm going to do now is talk about 4 of the products that we are experimenting with. Those 4 products are in, like I said, experimental phases, but we've learned a lot of key things about social commerce from each of these. So the first is Team Buy. You've heard me talk about this in Pinduoduo, but now we're bringing it over to the hotel space. Why would a user want to share Team Buy? Team Buy helps users save money on their bookings. So a large share of our users are already traveling with friends. So if you think about the fact that the user need is already there, I'm going to go with somebody else. It's just potential that that user would have probably booked, or my friend would have booked somewhere else. We don't know that they were going to book on Hopper. But if we create a reason for them to book on Hopper, and we say, when you share within 24 hours of your booking with your social network or your group of friends, you're all going to be able to get a lower price and a lower discount. So we've created that inherent incentivized reason to get more bookings from that single booking. And some of the exciting key metrics we've seen in these early tests are that whoever is actually being invited in is converting at 10x our normal conversion rate. Because if you think about it, the person who is doing the initial booking has invited their friend who they know is going to book. They've done that hard work of selecting the qualified user that if we just put this out at paid scale, we wouldn't have been able to do all of that work. The next one is referrals. So I talked about social commerce going beyond just referrals. And so what we're doing is not doing just a traditional referral product where we're incentivizing users to install or to get their friends to install. What we're doing is we're enabling users to earn discounts in many different ways to find out which one has the best K factor for us and the most profitability. There are so many different methods that we've experimented with, and we've taken inspiration from lots of super apps. But the gamification here in the image that you're seeing is one of our variants that is about milestone rewards. So we have seen that if we create this gamified kind of milestone element where users know, if I get 3 installs, I'll get this much. If I get 5 installs, I'll get this much. If I get 15 installs, I'll get this much. We've seen that increase the K factor and increase the motivation and the creativity for how users are actually going to share. Gifting is really interesting because, like I said, for referrals, there is sometimes a social dynamic at play that people feel strange. I don't want to put my referral code on my social media. It feels weird. I'm not an influencer. I don't have this kind of social cachet. Like it gives me this weird feeling. Gifting, on the other hand, our users have expressed wanting both to use referrals and gifting just in different social dynamic situations. So gifting, why it works for Hopper is we're still giving that referral incentive. Hey, you got somebody else to install the app, but it's a much lower cost for us. We're not paying for the referrer. And on the other hand, the other thing that's exciting about gifting is that users get creative about the ideas why they might gift. It gives them a social reason to say, hey, it's your birthday, here's $35 off a Hopper travel of your choice. So users can appear to feel, or they can feel generous by sharing these gifts. Lastly, we are experimenting with a video feed. The video feed allows users to discover, plan, share, and earn commission. So the first thing to think about is the video feed is, why would somebody want to give us their personal travel videos? Why wouldn't they just post it on their own social or in their own group chats? So users are motivated to share their videos with us because we're offering commission for everyone who books from that video. And then there's the watcher side. We're also incentivizing users to watch those videos. And we're creating this loop where people are getting excited and watching more and more videos because they're earning rewards for it. The other thing about video is that it creates this authentic social proof that allows people to feel more confident about their purchase when they're deeper in the funnel. Or if they're in the discovery phases, video, like on TikTok, you share with your friends when you find something funny or inspiring. People are doing the same thing. They're sharing these videos with their friends because they're excited about a potential trip that they're going to take. I want to talk lastly about single-threaded ownership. So I'm going to pivot a little bit from the actual social commerce learnings that we've had and talk about how we've been able to experiment with so many different types of social commerce products and experiments and get ourselves closer to figuring out the one that's going to unlock unbounded growth for us. At Hopper, we work in the STO model, the single-threaded ownership model. So instead of having a product team, a product design team, a data science team, we have teams that are completely self-sufficient and cross-functional in and of themselves. And every team works backwards from a customer problem. The beauty of this STO model is that you don't have to find a lot of cross-functional buy-in. Every team has the autonomy and ownership they need. It's kind of like a mini startup under one umbrella. We all have a bunch of mini startups, and we're able to work backwards from that customer problem. So my takeaways for today, one is definitely the customer obsession side. The best path that we've found to growing our users is to focus your efforts on working backwards from what customers actually want. The second is to broaden your inspiration. Instead of hitting local maximas by focusing on what other travel agencies are doing, we're looking outside of the travel world and looking at what super apps are doing to increase their user growth and get people to launch the app more than before. And lastly, as I mentioned in the STO model, we really want to maximize autonomy. Each of our product teams has everything they need from within themselves to not have to cross red tape to actually move the needle on what's going to bring results and work backwards again from what the customer actually wants to share. Why would they want to share? And then give them the reason to share so that we can grow our app. And it wouldn't be a Hopper social commerce presentation if I didn't end with saying, if you don't have Hopper on your phone, now is a really good time to take out your phone and you can scan my QR code. And there's a little bit in it for me and a little bit in it for you. If you're going to take a hotel trip anytime soon, you'll get $25 off hotels when you scan my QR code, and I'll get $50. So it's actually more in it for me, worth it for me to put it up here. But this is all about creating that motivation. Obviously, I want to put this up here. And so there's a lot of reasons why you should download the app and start earning and share with your friends as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We're going to do like a couple question and answers if that works for you. It's a little bit of a curveball.
Okay.
So I'm going to kick it off, but I encourage you guys to come up with some questions as well. That works. So I would love to know what your tips are for landing on the dollar incentive that works for your growth goals as well as your expense goals.
That's a great question. It comes with a lot of experimentation because we need to find the profitability that actually works for us. And so that means being really confident about your conversion curves over time, knowing how to forecast the lifetime value of a new user coming in, and trying to figure out how much can I afford to give away in exchange for understanding and being confident, whatever your payback goals are, that you're going to be able to achieve them. And so what that's really meant for us is trying a lot of different models, trying a lot of different incentive amounts to figure out the one that makes us feel confident that it both motivates users to share and that we can pay it back over time.
So tell me a little bit how you combat fraud on your referral rates, especially in the OTA industry when people can like cancel hotels.
That's a good question. So we do have an entire team dedicated to fraud prevention. I actually don't know all the specifics of what goes on behind the fraud prevention, but I do know we have a lot of checks in place to see if something looks fishy and we're seeing somebody refer hundreds of users in seconds. There's usually something behind that, and it's, we can verify, we can see if it's an influencer, but we have an entire team dedicated to making sure that doesn't happen.
Okay. All right. Let's, thank you so much.
Thank you.